Hey y'all, so I wanted to talk about a few things. But first off, rest in peace, Oliver Tree. So sad. He died in a plane crash in Brazil, and it was just so shocking to hear about him because I just saw him on a podcast on Whitney's channel. So really, really sad, really sad. I was crying earlier. Um, so please listen to his music. He's a great artist, and just be thankful that time moves by so fast. Things change. You never know when you have the moment, when you're full of life, and when you miss it the next moment. So be grateful for the life that you have, and try to maintain peace as much as possible. Okay, so today's video, I wanted to talk about my current hallucinations that I'm struggling with. So, I have PCOS in addition to schizoaffective disorder, which is a hybrid of schizophrenia and schizoaffective or bipolar disorder. So, I'm going to look this way. I think better when I'm looking this way. And so I have that as well as PCOS, which is a hormonal disorder that causes irregular periods. And then I'm struggling with this hallucination that I'm deaf and colorblind, and I think I know I'm colorblind for sure. Um, because I worked at Robert Cowher's violin shop last year in around May, and they said if you're colorblind, you're gonna be incapable of doing the work. And it turns out I am very colorblind. So even though I still wear color. It doesn't mean people don't wear color when they're colorblind. They still see color. They just experience it in a much different way than the average person who, learns their colors, wears colors, experiences colors. It's a much more synesthetic experience, in my opinion. So I think it's not sensory overload, but you're just more aware of things that instead of taking in the evidence of objects in your psychological environment, you're more able to manipulate the environment rather than taking it in as is. So I think a lot of artists are colorblind and blind. I am near blind. If I take out my contacts, I am basically blind. So, yeah, I've been struggling with that lately. Not so much as my other hallucinations, which are I've been thinking that I've been pregnant the last few weeks, and I get this every time I have sex, but this time it was not physical, it was just online. So I'm just like, okay, even online sex, if I just cannot. I think I should just avoid sex in general. Um I think that especially for religious folk, I think it's a lot different, and people who are not quite on the science side of things, it's um really hard to come to terms with uh sexual activity and what's it called, safe sex and things like that. I don't really understand it. And even if I have safe sex, like online sex, it's like I'm still getting these hallucinations, and I'm just like, okay, nothing works. I guess I have to get married first. So I will just have to find someone who's in town, because I don't really plan on leaving Anchorage because my health is quite severe. Even though even though I'm capable of a lot of things, I do have my limitations in that I just struggle with hallucinations and delusions on a daily basis. And I was watching Kitso's video about the prevalence of schizophrenia after treatment, and she said it's around like 30 to 50% reduction in symptoms. I believe that's what she said. I'll have to find the video, but I believe that, you know, sometimes when I'm treated, like especially when I'm first treated, it feels like, oh my gosh, like this definitely feels like I'm different. But then after I meet someone who really like shakes my world, or like someone who really inspires me or causes a big change in my life, then it's like, oh, I see myself way differently, and I perceive communication differently. I talk differently. I'm more aware. I'm more present. Um, so even with the medications, I still struggle with that dichotomy of the change between, you know, being totally isolated from the deafness of medication changes, which I'm hoping to get hearing aids, which will cause a lot more sound and verbation in my hearing apparatus. But like I think that the change between not hearing anything and then hearing everything all at once. But you know, I'm still deaf, so I think once I start, and deafness is not like total deafness. It's not like, oh my god, I can't hear anything. It's just another perception change. It's like, whereas color blindness, it's like I still see with contacts. I still see, but everything's a little bit, I just perceive it differently. It's not like everything's ashy, but it's like I still see the color, but the color has meaning, and I just understand the world differently. And I think that's with most artists. I think most artists develop a sensitivity to their vision, and I think it is quite different for most people. I think I should stop saying I think. Anyways, I was hoping to understand more about deafness because I believe my dad is deaf. He's always been very quiet and he doesn't like speaking, and when he speaks, um, he sometimes doesn't respond, and then my mom was like very frustrated, you know, when she first met him. She's gotten used to it over the years, but she's very frustrated with the amount of silence that is around my father. And then he did get hearing aids at one point of his life, so I think it's just deafness. And I believe I have it as well. I can still hear and talk and communicate, but it's like, it's not like complete deafness. Like, I don't even know what Beethoven went through, but you know, where you cannot hear anything. I still hear, but it's more like I can't be around loud sounds. I can't or be around certain sounds. Some people who talk to me, I cannot communicate with them because it just comes off the wrong way, and I cannot um it's like verbation, so like the vibrations of sound hits you differently. So sometimes it feels like you know, positive good sounds are coming into your vibration field, and you get intuitive uh, reverb that is positive. But sometimes when you hear negative things, not just negative speech or negative word choice, but it's like they could not be talking and you still understand that you still hear things differently. And um, it's like sound that goes inside your mind. It's really hard to explain. Um, but sound that goes inside your mind that causes you to have more negative intuitive paths in your brain, which is neural connections. So I think, sorry, my neighbor's outside. I'm getting distracted. Um, I'm trying to explain this thing I've been experiencing lately. I was telling my mom that, like, usually people, when they sit in a room, they can communicate with each other and just know certain facts about each other, who's where, who's who, who's what, things like that. But for me, when I sit in a room, I hear nothing unless someone actually physically talks to me. So I think that is what deafness is, in my opinion. Um, I think usually you have more, if you're average and normal, I think you have more of an awareness of what goes on inside an environment, like how you communicate, how you experience and become uh, a part of that environment, where your interaction with others, the nature, the colors, the sounds, the speech, things like that, how you interact, I think it affects um, the way. Sorry, I'm really tired. I was crying so much from Oliver Tree because I was already crying about something else, and I was like, God, Oliver Tree died, and it felt like he died for me. I was like, why would you just be safe? If you're wealthy, be safe. Honestly, be safe. I can't say the same thing about the poor, unfortunately, because even my friend Brooke, she was in a safe place, but she was a drug addict, so she fell into meth. So you can't really wish safety for someone if they're in that lifestyle. So if you have the wealth, choose a healthy lifestyle and just stay out of harm's way. I think that is the main thing about health and safety. But anyways, I was telling my mom, what was I telling her? It feels like telepathy or neuropathy, where it feels like when you're normal, you just hear things and you accept them as normal. But when you're deaf and you hear things, it feels like you're an alien. It feels like you're out of this world and you shouldn't be hearing these things. And then it makes you question your sanity. I'm like, is this schizophrenia? Like, why am I hearing this stuff? But then as you begin to communicate more with the people around you, you realize this is quite normal. And which makes it easier. It makes it easier to be a part of the community because you realize, oh, everyone has this. I'm unfamiliar with it, or I am unaccustomed to the regularities of this particular sensory sensation and or predicament. And I think that, so that's one thing about deafness. It's like sometimes, like, if you're in an environment, sorry, I keep saying environment, like, let's say you're in a room by yourself. A deaf person would say, I am in the room by myself. I do not hear anyone, I do not see anyone, I am by myself. A normal person would be able to have neural connections outside that room and connect with, it's kind of like a cell phone range. It's like, I think most normal people have this connection to the outside world, whether or not you are physically present with that person. I kind of compare this to the likeness of long distance, not relationships, but long distance closeness with family members or influencers or people you know, or want to get to know, those people who you hold dear to your heart. Sometimes you just have a wavelength with them despite not being in the same room together. But a deaf person, if they're in a room by themselves, they would sensorily close that off and say, yes, I am in a room by myself. I am alone. I cannot hear. I cannot see. There is no one around me. But again, the normal person would have, oh, I know what my mom is doing. I know what my sister is doing. I know what my brother is doing. I know what my teacher's doing or what he wants me to do. You would have those social connections. And I think deafness is a bit of an isolation problem. Um, it's more of an isolation problem than a communication problem, because I think deaf people can still communicate just as much as blind people can still see, even if it's not the same visual perception as 20/20 vision. For instance, when I take off my contacts, it is blurry. My world is blurry. It is so blurry. It's like, when the rain falls and you take your camera outside and there is a drop of rain on your camera viewfinder or camera, and you take a photo, and through that raindrop you see the world in a totally, not hazardous, but it's just blurry and it's beautiful. That is my world, that is my reality without contacts. But thank God for healthcare, thank God for Bahala Allah for um contacts, glasses, medicine, technology. It's amazing what we can do with the health predicaments that some people have. I don't want to say disability, because I don't think blindness is a disability, because we have these medical interventions. So I'm not even going to say blindness deserves disability, because I think disability disables people. I think being on welfare and getting government paychecks without doing the work disables you, because you're not working ethically. You're not putting in the work that deserves to be worked through, because there is value in work. It's not just hard work deserves money, it is the process of work deserves money. The learning of work deserves money. The networking of work deserves money. The positivity gained in work deserves money. So I think when you put a cap on through disability, saying, oh, I am disabled, I want welfare money, and you receive that money, but you have a cap, an income limit, and you're not able to work more than that limit, it disables you, because your self-esteem goes down, your creativity goes down, you're limited, you don't have as much freedom to create, to be with others, to meet other people, to spend, to invest, to just be creative in general. I think it's a creative question, in my opinion. And I think I'm a little disappointed in the art market in Anchorage. I think that, first of all, I'm new here, so I feel like I'm new in town. This is my first summer back in Anchorage, where I've been a resident for quite a few years, like 5 years. So I'm glad to be back in town. But it's hard. It's hard. It's cold. I'm happy to be around family. I'm happy to be around my friends and new people around here and my neighbors, but it's hard. It's cold here. I do like the heat. But anyways, I'm just a little cold-blooded, so I do need more heat than the average person. Anyways, so schizoaffective disorder. I've been struggling with that, the hallucinations of pregnancy because I had online sex with someone quite frequently, and or telepathic sex, if you can say that's a thing. Um, and I didn't realize like the gaps in communication that led to the demise of or disintegration of the connection, because I was like, oh, maybe this is my normal, but it should not be anyone's normal to lose communication with someone. So it was really hard to deal with. Anyways, I'm gonna end this video soon. It's been 20 minutes. Pray for Oliver Tree that he gets to heaven. Pray for people with schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder, bipolar type, depression, because it's rough. It's rough. Sometimes you just run into more problems than you want, and it feels like it's not limiting because it doesn't affect who you are spiritually, but it is professionally just aggravating because you feel like, oh, I have to deal with this kind of corporate issue. And sometimes there's no benefit. Sometimes there's no benefit. So it's unfortunate. Anyways, please pray for me. I've been struggling with pregnancy hallucinations, but I am going to start working out soon. I am going to, I'm going to play pickleball, probably go for runs, and also maybe swimming. It's been really cold, so I'm not quite sure about swimming. But I did used to enjoy swimming a lot. But I need to lose this belly fat. I'm gonna try to reduce my medications a little bit. Because I'm on a 9 dosage. I'm on a 9 milligram dose of paliperidone, and I think the minimum is like 3 milligrams. So I'm just like, I could probably reduce it by 6 milligrams. Because I think I'm doing fine, and I just have to. I think the hallucinations come from my physical self, which I need to improve and fix. So I'll be working out, playing sports. Working out and playing sports is totally different. Sports is fun, but working out is really technical. So yeah, I'll join sports first because it's more social, and I think there's a greater health benefit to it. Working out can be a little bit isolating and a little bit causes some stress. So, but I do want to go for runs every now and then, get new running shoes, and work on that. Save money because I lost a lot of money in this last business venture. So, recuperate from that. Be really careful of where I put my investments, and just recuperate my finances, save money. I'm glad I'm not going to New Mexico because I would have wrecked my finances even more. So it's gonna be a few years if I ever go back. I don't know if I will ever go back, but I'm enjoying Alaska. So yeah, I'm gonna end this video. Please pray for me and pray for Oliver Tree, and pray for those who struggle with mental health disorders.